The Nage no Kata consists of 15 representative throwing techniques, 3 from each of the following 5 categories: Tewaza, Koshiwaza, Ashiwaza, Mas-temiwaza, and Yoko-temiwaza. Each technique is executed from both sides. The kata were established to help understand and master the theoretical basis of Judo. This is a demonstration of Nage no Kata filmed in the late 1920s. The tori is Master Nagaoka, who was at the time an 8th dan holder, and the uke is 5th dan Murakami. Harai goshi. Okuri ashi harai. The execution is sharp and spirited. This film was made in the days when the tatami area was not necessarily 50 mats, nor was the position of the judoists specified. Nagaoka later went on to become a 10th dan holder. His genius was acclaimed, and he was known especially for his sharp execution of Yoko-temiwaza, and in particular ukiwaza. Let's begin by watching the entire Nage no Kata. The tori is on the left and the uke is on the right, facing shomen. After executing a standing bow, they turn and face each other and make a kneeling bow. They then stand and take one step forward with their left foot to assume shizen hontai, or basic natural posture. They advance to enter into tewaza. The first of the 3 tewaza is ukiotoshi. The tori breaks the uke's balance to the front and pulls him down forcefully to throw him. Make sure to perform the kata in the center of the dojo, and each technique should be executed from both directions, left and right. Seoi nage. As the uke comes forward and aims a downward blow at your tento, or the top of your head, you seize the uke's arm and throw him. Kata guruma. Use your hips to lift the uke on his shoulders and throw him forward to the corner. After finishing the 3 tewaza, you return to your original positions and quickly adjust your uniforms with your backs to each other. You then proceed to the 3 koshiwaza. Ukigoshi involves twisting the body to throw your opponent. Harai goshi. Press your hip firmly against the uke's abdomen and throw him by sweeping upward against his leg. Tsurikomi goshi. Lower your hips and press them against the uke's thighs to throw him. You then proceed to ashiwaza. Okuri ashi harai. Make sure to sweep both feet so that it does not become a deashi harai. Sasae tsurikomi ashi. It's important to break the uke's balance by turning your body outward and pulling strongly. Uchimata. The tori tends to grab the uke's collar at the back, but the correct way is to take the front collar. The three mas-demiwaza in the kata are tomoe nage, ura nage, and sumigaeshi. The three techniques are performed consecutively at a fairly brisk pace. The main point in tomoe nage is to lower your body and break the uke's balance to the front. Uranage. Arch your back and, using the action of your hips and arms, throw your opponent by lifting him up over your shoulder. Sumigaeshi. It's important to break your opponent's defensive posture, or jigotai, while maintaining your own. And now for the yoko stemi waza. These are yokogake, yokoguruma, and ukiwaza. Yokogake. Break the uke's balance completely and slam your foot under his ankle bone to sweep his foot. Yokoguruma. Make sure not to move your feet after completing the throw. And now for the last of the 15 techniques, ukiwaza. Lower your hips onto the mat and break your opponent's balance to throw him towards the corner. After completing the series of 15 techniques, you return to your starting positions, adjust your judogi and face each other, assuming shizen hontai, or basic natural posture. In unison, take one step back, starting with your right foot, and stand. After executing kneeling bows, stand and face the front, make a standing bow, and exit. Let's begin by looking at the salutations. To make the standing bow, stand up straight and bend forward from the waist to an angle of about 30 degrees while sliding your fingertips down to slightly above your kneecaps. To make the sitting bow, place both hands in front of your knees so that the index fingers of both hands are facing each other and are about 6 centimeters apart. Let's look at the bows from the side. The angle of the standing bow is about 30 degrees. Kneel on your left knee with your toes placed on the floor and follow with your right knee. For the sitting bow, bow from the waist so that your forehead is about 30 centimeters above both hands, making sure not to raise your hips. Place the toes of your feet on the floor and stand, starting with your right foot. The first tewaza is uki otoshi. Each technique should be performed from both directions, the left and the right. Start from a position about 60 centimeters apart. On the third step, you break the uke's balance to the front and throw him by pulling hard. Note the position and angle of the tori's feet on completing the throw. The angle should be about 30 to 45 degrees. The main point of uki-otoshi is that you pull the uke down as he takes his third step. After completing the throw, you should fix your gaze ahead. Next, seoi nage. As the uke aims a downward blow at your tento, or top of your head, you press your back against the uke's chest and abdomen to lift and throw him forward. The uke steps forward with his right foot and raises his fist above his head to aim steadily at your tento. Note how the tori uses his left hand to ward off the uke's arm and lift him on his back. Step forward with your right foot and take a firm hold of the uke's arm just as he's about to aim the downward blow. Press your back firmly against the uke and straighten your knees to execute the throw. Besides the seoi nage, there are 3 other techniques in which the uke aims a downward blow at the tori's tento: ukigoshi, uranage, and yokoguruma. The third tewaza is kata guruma. On the second step, switch your grip from the uke's elbow to the middle inner sleeve and take a big step back. Then lower your hips to lift him up and throw him to the front corner. And now from the other side. Note the way the tori uses his left hand. He grips the uke's inner sleeve with the fingers on top. In kataguruma, you press your nape against the uke's hips to lift him. You won't be able to lift the uke properly unless you lower your hips and press your nape against his hips. Because the tori has not lowered his hips sufficiently, the position of the head's too high. Compare the position of the head with the correct form on the left. A common mistake is to grip the uke's pants to lift him. The correct way is to press the palm of your hand against his leg without grabbing the pants. On being lifted, the uke should straighten his knees so that his entire body is straight. He supports himself by pressing the palm of his hand against the tori's back. After finishing kata guruma, you adjust your uniforms and move on to koshiwaza. Ukigoshi involves twisting the body to execute the throw. From a position 1.8 meters apart, the uke steps forward and attempts to strike your tento. Before the below connects, you pull his hips towards you and twist his body to execute the throw. This is rare footage showing the founder of Judo, Master Jigoro Kano, as he teaches students the ukigoshi, a technique he was particularly fond of. He emphasizes the importance of twisting the hips to execute the throw. Next, haraigoshi. The important thing to remember is to sweep upward without bending your leg. After taking 2 steps, slip your hand behind the uke's back and break his balance to the corner front. Then press your hips firmly against his abdomen and sweep upwards with your leg to execute the throw. This shows how you break the uke's balance. Remove your hand from the uke's front collar and slip it underneath his arm and behind his back to pull and break his balance. When sweeping the uke's leg, keep your leg straight and sweep upwards. And now, surikomi goshi. Grab the uke's rear collar. Be careful not to grip the front collar, which is what quite a few people do. The main points are the movement of the feet after taking the 3rd step and the lowering of the hips so that they're pressed firmly against the uke's front thighs. Let's take another look at the tori's feet and the way he lowers his hips to lift and pull the uke. Surikomi goshi is the only technique in the Nage waza in which you grab the back of the collar. Moving on to Ashiwaza, starting with Okuri Ashiharai. On the third step, sweep both of the uke's feet in the direction in which he's moving in an upward curving motion. Be careful not to contort your body when sweeping the uke's legs. Sweep the uke's feet right beneath the ankle bone in the direction in which he's moving. Be sure to sweep both feet to distinguish this from Deashi Harai. The main points of Sasai Tsurikomi-ashi are to turn your body outwards and pull hard to break the uke's balance. Move back in Tsugi-ashi and open your body so that your toes are facing inward. As the uke comes forward, apply the sole of your foot right above his ankle and throw him towards the back in a big circular motion. Let's watch it again. Next, Uchimata. The main point of Uchimata is to advance diagonally on the third step. On the third step, draw the uke back in a wide circular motion. As he's about to shift his weight to his front foot, break his balance to the front with both hands and press the back of your thigh up against his inner thigh to sweep him. Note how the tori takes his third step and the timing of the sweep. When grappling, the tori grabs the uke's front collar. There's a tendency to grab at the back of the collar, but this is incorrect. We now move on to the mas demiwaza. Tomoe Nage involves lowering the body and breaking the uke's balance to the front. Once you've started grappling with each other, you should try and push the uke as soon as possible. The uke resists by pushing back. At that moment, put your left hand under his arm to grip his front collar. Then bend your right knee to lower your body and place your right foot on the uke's lower abdomen, raising your toes as you do so. Pull the uke towards you in a downward arc with both hands and throw him over your head. Note the tori's posture as he breaks the uke's balance to the front. Because he's too erect, his belt is level with that of the uke, making it difficult for him to break the uke's balance. Now watch the correct posture on the left. As you can see from the height of the belt, the tori has bent his knees sufficiently so his centre of gravity is low, enabling him to break the uke's balance. As the uke resists by pushing back, his feet become aligned with the tori's right foot. At that moment, the tori steps forward with his left to enter into the throw. The uke does a forward roll and stands. Uranage involves using the action of your hands and hips to lift the uke up to throw him behind you. As the uke aims a downward blow at your tento, extend your left foot well behind him to avoid the blow, draw his hips closely towards you to lift him up and throw him over. Take a close look at the tori's hands. The left hand is placed alongside the back of the uke's belt. The palm of the right hand is placed against the uke's lower abdomen. The final must demiwaza is sumigaishi. When breaking your opponent's jigotai or defensive posture, it's important to maintain your own. While pulling your opponent forcefully upward with your right hand, take a big step back with your right foot to break his balance. Maintain body control so that your belt is parallel to the floor. This shows how to grapple in jigotai. Slip your right hand through your opponent's armpit and place the palm on his back. Your hips should be slightly lowered. Apply your right instep behind your opponent's left knee to throw him. And now the last of the Nage no Kata, Yoko Stemiwaza. Yoko Gake is a technique in which you sweep hard against your opponent's foot. Be careful not to sweep from the side. Watch the sweeping action of the foot. When taking your second step, break your opponent's balance by pulling and turning his body halfway towards you. As he steps forward with his right foot in an attempt to maintain his balance, bring your right foot up next to your left and slam your left sole under his right ankle bone to sweep his foot. The foot should be right under the ankle bone. Watch the uke's feet. When he loses his balance, his left foot comes behind his right. Yokoguruma. As your partner comes forward to aim a downward blow at your tento, you slide your leg in between his legs and throw yourself onto your side to throw him. Your opponent bends over hard to avoid being thrown by uranage. Take advantage of his posture to break his balance to the front and slide your right leg in between his legs and throw him over your left shoulder. Observe the timing of the moment when the tori breaks the uke's balance and slides his leg in between the uke's legs to throw him. The uke should make it clear that he's bending forward to avoid being thrown by uranage. The tori's feet should remain fixed after completing the throw. This is a bad example of how the tori's feet moved after the throw. And now ukiwaza, the last of the 3 yoko tsutemi waza. Grapple in jigotai as in sumigaeshi and take a big step back with your right foot. As the uke steps forward with his right to maintain his balance, slide your left leg out in an arc and use both hands to throw him. The uke steps towards your left thigh and does a forward roll to stand. As you break the uke's balance to the front corner, straighten your left leg and drop your hips to fall on your left side. After completing the 15 techniques, you return to your starting positions and adjust your uniforms. You then turn to face each other and take the basic natural posture, shizen hontai. In unison, take one step back, right foot first, stand straight and make kneeling bows. Simultaneously stand, turn to face the front and make standing bows and exit. Finally, let's watch the Nage no Kata performed by 5th Dan holders Sakashita and Mukai at the 1996 All Japan Championship. Ukiotoshi. The tori breaks the uke's balance to the front and pulls him down forcefully to throw him. Seoi nage. As the uke comes forward and aims a downward blow at the tori's tento, the tori seizes the uke's arm and throws him. Kataguruma. The tori uses his hips to lift the uke on his shoulders and throws him forward to the corner. Ukigoshi. This involves twisting the body to throw your opponent. Haraigoshi. The tori presses his hip firmly against the uke's abdomen and throws him by sweeping upward against his leg. Tsurikomi-goshi. This involves lowering the hips and pressing them against the uke's thighs to throw him. Okuri ashiharai. The tori makes sure to sweep both feet so that it does not become a de ashiharai. Sasai tsurikomi-ashi. The tori breaks the uke's balance by turning his body upward and pulling strongly. Uchimata. The tori must make sure to grab the uke's collar by the front. Tomoe nage. The tori lowers his body and breaks the uke's balance to the front. Uranage. The tori arches his back and, using the action of his hips and arms, throws the uke by lifting him up over his shoulder. Sumigaeshi. It's important for the tori to break the uke's defensive posture or jigotai while maintaining his own. Yokogake. The tori breaks the uke's balance completely and slams his foot under his ankle bone to sweep his foot. Yokoguruma. The tori must not move his feet after completing the throw. Ukiwaza. The tori lowers his hips onto the mat and breaks the uke's balance to throw him towards the corner. The founder of Judo, Master Jigoro Kano, emphasized the importance of both kata and randori, comparing their relationship to that of grammar and composition in writing. The Nage no kata are based on theory. Proper practice will enable you to master not only the forms, but the principles upon which they're based. Practicing the kata is a way to train both the body and mind, helping you to master the essence of Judo.